Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Y'all, I thought we could sit outside and talk about books and have a nice little visit, but as usual, I got suckered by the Minnesota weather because look, can y'all see that? The wind is whipping up. So I tell you what, y'all go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I will relocate us inside where there is no whipping wind, and I'll meet y'all in there, okay? So hang on. All right, y'all, we're relocated inside. Let's talk about books. You may recall my last reading vlog was Summerween, and I got a little traumatized. All right, I traumatized myself by deciding that we were going to read vampire books. Y'all, I'm over all that, and now I need a little brain bleach. So for this vlog, I am just going to read some happy little summery reads. Well, that's my goal anyway. We'll see what we end up with, but we're going to start off with a book by Kristen Higgins called Out of the Clear Blue Sky. Now, what I know about this book is, all right, I don't know anything about this book, but I do know something about Kristen Higgins. I read a book by her a while ago. It was called something like If You Only Knew, or If Only You Knew, or something like that, and I enjoyed it a lot. I think I get it mixed up in my head with a book called Back in the Burbs, but here's what I think I remember about, well, let me say this. Here's what I know I remember about her book. I enjoyed the writing a lot. I enjoyed the sort of easiness about how her characters develop and how they interact with each other. And I think I remember that in that book, there was our main character whose name I'm not even going to pretend to remember, and I'm not going to look it up because that's not what we're talking about. But the female main character was either getting divorced or she was divorced. Yes, she was divorced and she was friends with her ex-husband and the ex-husband's new wife. They were like, they had kids and they had like the perfect little family, and they were still really involved in her life, which was like keeping her from moving on. And then something happened with her sister. She ended up moving away from where she lived and was friends with all of these people. Maybe back home to her hometown where her sister had like the perfect life. And they realized, maybe that's what it was, but okay, I might not remember a whole lot about this book. There was something about, maybe the sister was like counseling her that she needed to stop being friends with all of these people from her old life and move on. And then come to find out, the sister who had the perfect life didn't really have the perfect life. And that's all I'm going to say, because I'm doing that thing where people talk about other books in their like book vlog and then give spoilers for the other book, and I try not to do that, and I'm about to do that. So let me not do that. But I say all of that to say that I don't know anything about this book, but I do know that I think that I like Kristen Higgins' writing. So, and here's the other thing. I'm going to look at this. Y'all go ahead and laugh. Do y'all remember? So when I hauled the books, where I had the book Caraval, I kept looking at the cover and saying Carnival. I know. So I'm going to keep looking at this cover because in my head, I have Kristen Higgins mixed up with Susan Mallory in my head. So I might have to keep looking at this to remind myself that it's Kristen Higgins that we're talking about, not Susan Mallory. And hopefully I'll actually look at it and like register what I'm reading, not just keep saying the same wrong thing over and over again. All right, that's all. Y'all, I'm going to go read some. I'll come back and tell you what I know about Out of the Clear Blue Sky when I actually know something about it. All right, so y'all sit tight. I'll be back. Morning, y'all. I'm about to go get on the bike and read some more of Out of the Clear Blue Sky. Just wanted to check in and let you know how it's going. I am enjoying it so far. I didn't get terribly far last night, but I did get started and I am enjoying it. So it's about Lily, who is a woman of a certain age, and she's about to become an empty nester because her son is going off to college. But little did she know, as her son goes off to college, her husband is going to go off to marry a younger woman. So that's sort of the premise of the whole thing, is that Lily is like adjusting to life as an empty nester, but there's kind of more to it than that. It's an interesting setup. It's told in alternating perspectives. It's first person perspective from Lily, which is interesting because it makes her a sympathetic character. And her perspective alternates with Melissa, which is told from a third person omniscient perspective. So of course we get to know Lily better, and we like see things literally from her point of view, but we also understand why she does the things that she does more than we do with Melissa, even though Melissa is omniscient. So like we're told why she thinks what she thinks, but with Lily, like we kind of think them with her. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm enjoying it. Like I said, Lily is sort of the like jilted wife, but she's not like the sit around whine about it mealy mouth jilted wife. I don't want to tell too much, but I can tell you this, because it's like the very beginning of the book. The book starts off with her driving down the road with a tranquilized skunk in her car on her way to the ex-husband and new girlfriend's house. So like from jump, we're off to the races with Lily and her shenanigans. So anyway, that's really all I know so far, is that Lily's been left, and that she's a little bit heartbroken and sad and lonely, and she's dealing with it really the only way that she knows how. So I'm going to get on the bike, I'm going to ride for a while and read, and I'll check back in with y'all in a bit and let you know how things are going and what I think. It's a little bit of a long book. It's about 400, it's almost 500 pages, but it's a quick read, so I think I'll make pretty good progress. So let me get going, let me get to reading, and I'll come back and let you know how things are going. All right, y'all, the pups and I are posted up here on the couch. We're going to do some reading. And I wanted to fill you in a little bit on Out of the Clear Blue Sky. I think I told you like the basic premise of the story. Lily is about to be an empty nester and finds out that she's like an empty nester. But I don't think I gave you any of like the background setup. So it's set in Cape Cod. So we get all of those like small beach town feels, but it's a northern beach town. So we have sort of that setting. Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable here around these dogs. There we go. It's the town where Lily grew up. So we have that sort of hometown girl feel where like everybody knows her and supports her and not the estranged husband. So as always, I don't want to say too much and give too much away, but there's all of that sort of playing out in the story. Lily is a nurse midwife. I'm sure I didn't tell you that before. So there's lots of that going on, which leads me to a trigger warning. Now, y'all know I don't give many trigger warnings, but there's lots of talk of like midwifing and midwifery and like childbirthery and all of birthery. That word is made up, but all of those things. And there's sort of intimate talk of infant loss, like not in detail, not gross, but in detail, sort of insofar as the like emotional effects and like PTSD from infant loss. So if you have any kind of issues with that at all, maybe don't read this book. I feel like it's very well done. It's very tactfully handled. Like it got me all up in my feels a little bit, and like I don't have issues with that. So if you have any issues with that, maybe don't read this one. While I'm trigger warning, there's also talk of acquaintance date violence. Sorry, I'm trying to think of like nice ways to put these things. Again, not graphic in like the sense of what happens, like you know what happens. Like, I mean, like in the scene, it's really clear what happens, but in the sense of the emotional effect that it has on the character and how she reacts to it and how she's affected by it forever is described in some pretty clear details. So again, I don't have issues around that, and it got me all up in my feels. So if you have any issues with either of those things, do not, I'm just going to say it, not like maybe you should avoid this, don't read this book, because I think that it would be very upsetting. With those things out of the way, let's talk about the book. It does talk a lot about Lily's job and her midwifery. Like, it takes us with her as she goes and delivers babies, which I'll be honest, a couple of times I'm like, seriously, can we get on with the delivering of the baby? Because it kind of goes a little bit a lot into the lives of the people that she's helping with, like the baby deliveries and stuff. And I didn't care a lot about them because I don't know them. Y'all, they're not my friends. They're not, I'm not reading about them. They're sort of peripheral characters that get a little more play in the book than I feel like they necessarily needed. But with that being said, I think maybe Kristen Higgins, the author, uses it as a way to show how important they are in Lily, our main character's life. That's kind of like that her life is built around them. So anyway, I just went way down a rabbit hole. Anyway, Lily is a midwife in a small town in Cape Cod, and we do midwifing with her. I'm enjoying the book a lot so far. I really like Kristen Higgins. Did I call her Christina a minute ago? I really like Kristen Higgins. I enjoy her writing. I enjoy her characters. The banter between characters is so good. I really enjoy authors who do dialogue well. She does dialogue well. Emily Henry does dialogue like a champ. But anyway, I'm enjoying this book a lot. I'm going to get on with it. I'm going to get back to... Did I tell you the dogs are watching their Aunt TT call a basketball game? My friend Drea works for ESPN. She's calling a WNBA... She's like announcing... I don't know what you call it. Announcing a WNBA game right now. So we're watching that. I'm reading books. The dogs are watching their Aunt TT, and they are in hog heaven. So I'm going to go, I'm going to read, I'm going to let the dogs watch their Aunt TT, and I will come back. I'm probably going to finish this book either this afternoon or on the bike in the morning. So I'll come back when I'm done, let you know how I like it. I'm loving it so far, but I'll come back when I'm done, let you know how I like. Well, I'll come back if there are any developments, obviously. But when I'm done, I'll come back, let you know how I liked it, and I will let you know where we're going from here, all right? So y'all enjoy your afternoon, and I'll check back with you later. Y'all, hey, I'm about to get on the bike, but I wanted to check in and let you know that we are almost done with Out of the Clear Blue Sky, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying watching Lily progress from this sort of broken-hearted, empty nester into, I guess, what she's going to be. And I had just a couple of closing thoughts. Like I said, I'm almost done. I'll finish it on my bike ride and then start my next book. But I just had a couple of thoughts I wanted to share about Lily, who I mentioned is I think I told y'all that she's a nurse midwife. So a lot of the book is very sort of female-centric, but not in like an off-putting way, not like in a, female positive to the point that it's like anti-male. There are some positive male characters in the book as well. As a matter of fact, the only really negative male character is the ex-husband, and he's not even really all that. I mean, he's negative in that he's the ex-husband, but he's not written in a way that it's like off-putting. Well, it wasn't off-putting to me anyway. I like a good morally gray character. Y'all know that. I love a flawed character. So anyway, I have enjoyed the book. I've enjoyed watching Lily's sort of character arc as she's worked her way through these challenges in her life to become, I guess, like who she's gonna be. Almost done. I will finish it. Like I said, I'll finish it at the beginning of this ride because I'm gonna ride for a couple of hours, and then y'all, we get to start Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is Emily Henry's new book. I have only seen rave reviews of it. I don't really know what it's about. I'm guessing it's about some people going to their happy place. I don't know, but y'all know I love Emily Henry. So I'm gonna go get started, get to writing and reading. I'm gonna finish this, I'm gonna start this, and I'll come back and let y'all know how it's going. Y'all, we got to talk about Happy Place. I finished Out of the Clear Blue Sky like I said I would. It was good. I liked it. It had, I wouldn't say a happy ending, but a satisfying ending. So, and sometimes that's the best you can hope for. Sometimes a happy ending is just cheesy and it doesn't work. And a satisfying ending... This is an unsatisfying development with my sitting outside and visiting session. Anyway, we're going to try to make it through this. So I finished that. I started Happy Place, and y'all, I can't stop reading. You know how I love Emily Henry. This is like all of the great things about Emily Henry. I don't want to tell you too much because I definitely don't want to risk any spoilers, but let me give you just the basics. So our main characters, Wynne and Harriet really is our main character. And she's going to her happy place with her friends, which is the family cabin of one of her rich friends. So she's going to spend their traditional week in the summer at the cabin with her friends, and come to find out, they have surprised her by inviting her fiance there, not knowing that it's her ex-fiance, Wynne. So it's kind of like a fake dating trope, but it's like a twist on the fake dating trope because they were engaged and they were the perfect couple. So it's like fake still dating. I don't know why I'm air quoting because I'm so excited because I love this book so much. So we have like the present timeline, which is they're at the cabin on the lake with the friends. But then we've also got interwoven into that the relationship of Harriet and Wynne when things were great. Which, y'all, it's really kind of like, I can't even tell you. I can't even speak. This book has broken my heart 15 times, and I'm only like halfway through it. Like, it breaks my heart, and then puts it back together, and then breaks my heart again, and puts it back together. Y'all, if you've ever broken up with somebody, or been broken up with, and had your heart broken, like, really broken, like, I can't eat and I'm gonna die, all dramatic, like drama queen heartbreak, this book is gonna bring that back for you. Unfortunately for the intern, he was that heartbreak for me. It was back in 1992. I know that was like a minute ago and I need to get over it, but y'all, come on. So this book is like bringing up all the old feels for me, so I'll like give the intern the cut eye when he walks by and he's like, what is your damage? Ugh, I can't even explain. Fortunately, he's used to my shenanigans and my drama, but y'all, this book is so good. So, have I even told you anything? So, Wynne and Harriet are forced together at this cabin with their best friends, and now they don't want to tell their best friends that they've been broken up for like 7 months because they don't want to ruin this like perfect week that they have together with their friends every summer. So good. And the juxtaposition between like the way they are in like the current broken up time and the way they were during the happy time, y'all, it's like salted caramel ice cream. It's like the perfect mix of like salty and sweet all together in that one perfect bite. I can't even. I gotta go and read some more. I'll come back later. Oh, and y'all, like, every time I think I know what's going on and I'm like on an even keel and everything's all good, there's some kind of like huge twist that, I know, I never see them coming. There's some huge twist that I didn't see coming that just knocks me off my rocker. So I'm back on my rocker now. I thought I'd take a minute and talk to y'all while things are calm before something else happens and just breaks my heart all over again. So let me go read. I won't finish it. I'm going to slow down and like take my time reading this because I don't know. I'm not sure that we're going to have that like fourth act, everything all happy and jolly like you know I like. So I'm going to slow down and just enjoy the read, and I'll probably finish it tonight or in the morning. So I'll come back. It was fun for a minute, me pretending I was going to slow down and not just completely devour an Emily Henry book, right? I know. Y'all know me too well. Stop it. I'll come back and let you know what I know when I know something, all right? So y'all chill. Have a good afternoon. Enjoy whatever you're reading. You know what? Tell us in the comments what you're reading and how you're enjoying it. And I'll be back either when Emily Henry breaks my heart again or when I'm done and I can tell you for sure that it's fabulous and you need to run out and get it. All right, so I'll be back. Y'all, I finished Happy Place. It was everything I needed it to be. Fabulous. I think I've told you everything I'm going to tell you about it except that, did I tell you it's set in Maine? So, small beach town in Maine. So we have all of those sort of small beach town feels. We got lobster rolls and wicked pizzas and all of that stuff. When I checked in with you before about it, I think I was already loving it. So you already know that. I loved it. It was fantastic. I agree with all of the reviews that say that it is leaps and bounds beyond Emily Henry's other books. It's just so good. The writing is great. The banter between her characters is so good and just so natural. And in this book, she takes it like to the next level, because I know I told you that this book is about a group of friends. So the banter in this book is not just like one or two or three characters, or like, you know, dialogue between pairs, you know, different pairs of characters. It's dialogue between groups of characters, and it's so good and so natural. And we follow them. I know I told you this, that it's like multiple timelines. So we're in that like small main town, but then we also follow the characters through sort of different points in their lives in different parts of the country. And it's really good. And I know I was talking about the banter between the characters, but we go to different settings in the towns, and so the banter changes. They sort of code switch. It's just really good. I'm just going to stop, but I really like it. So if you like a good sort of light-hearted, I don't know if it's a rom-com or just like a romantic, I don't know what it is, because it's not, I guess it is kind of rom-com-y. It's definitely chick lit. If you don't like chick lit, don't bother. I tried to read some reviews of it, because you know I like to read good reviews and bad reviews. I had trouble reading bad reviews of it because they just made me mad. Like the last one that I read, and this is when I just stopped reading bad reviews of Happy Place. It started off with a person saying that they DNF'd the last Emily Henry book that they tried to read because they just didn't like it. Well, if you don't like an author's books, don't read the author's books. Anyway, like I said, I just get mad. So I've stopped reading bad reviews of Happy Place, and I'm just going to say, just read it. Y'all, if you like a good lighthearted comedy, it's a good one. But here's my damage. I've now read 2 beach reads knowing nothing about them going into them, and I've ended up on Yankee beaches. Y'all, that is not me. That is not how I roll. So I'm going to read some Mary Kay Andrews, because even though I know nothing about this book, one thing I do know is that sister ain't going to take me to some New England beach town. So I'm going to get started on The High Tide Club. I'm still looking at book covers. I actually read that one this time though, y'all. I got the title right. I'm going to read The High Tide Club by Mary Kay Andrews. So I'm going to get started on this. Y'all, this is a honker. It's like, I don't know, 500-ish pages? Yeah, it's almost 500 pages. So I'm going to read for a bit and get a real idea of what it's about before I come back and talk to you about it. So y'all hang on, hang out, read your books, and I'll come back and tell you what I know about this one when I know something, all right? I'll be back. Y'all, I shot this update yesterday, but unfortunately I shot it in super slow-mo with no audio, which is no good for anyone. So I'm going to tell you again quickly what I know about the High Tide Club. I don't remember what I told you before yesterday's update, because now it's all kind of mushing together in my head, and I've read some more, a lot more since then, so let me just tell you some things. I know I told you before about Brooke and how Brooke was hired. Brooke's a lawyer who, I don't think I told you, she used to work in Savannah, but she moved to the small town of St. Mary's in Georgia, and now she's practicing law there. And she was hired by this old lady on one of the barrier islands to come out and do her legal work because the old lady's dying. Well, or maybe we didn't know she was dying. I mean, she's an old lady. Anyway, so now we know that the old lady did some shady business back in the day and fell out with her old friend. Like, she had these best old friends with whom she formed this club called the High Tide Club. And she had a falling out with them, which we have no idea what that was about. But now she wants to make amends with them and make them heirs to her vast estate, which is the island on which she lives, and like all of her stuff. But Brooke's like, dude, you're old. So they're probably old. So they're probably dead. So she wants Brooke to find them or find their heirs so that she can bequeath to them all of her stuff. So the story, as it develops, is about Brooke trying to find these heirs and the sort of unraveling of what happened back in the day and the story of the lives of these people. And y'all, if you've ever read Mary Kay Andrews, you know that she does sort of overlapping timelines really well and interlocking like characters' lives really well, and this book is no exception. I find myself not really falling in love with the characters, but I do care about them. They're very well, everything that I've read by Mary Kay Andrews is very well written. Her characters are well written and well developed. Y'all know how I love well written and sort of like comfortable dialogue, and her dialogue is so good. And I think I mentioned the Beachys in this book. So Beachys are people who came to the Barrier Islands as slaves, and so they're this sort of, I feel like they're a subculture of people, but not in like a disrespectful way. They're just this group of people who have their own culture, and so they have their own dialect and like all of the things that go with being a culture. And I feel like Mary Kay Andrews handles that really well in this book. Like, she presents us with that Beachy culture and the nomenclature and all of that about the Beachys, but in a way that's understandable to people that know nothing about them. If you know anything about the Gullah people in South Carolina, I think the Gullahs in South Carolina are the Beachys in South Georgia. So anyway, Mary Kay Andrews does that really well, I feel, in this book. So, all right, that's all. Let me go. I'm going to go get on the bike. I'm going to read some more. I'm going to finish this book either on the bike or this afternoon, and I'll come back and give you my final thoughts and my wrap up. All right, but I got to go now because I'm late. So I'll check back in later. The furry felons needed to come outside and touch some grass, so I'm going to go ahead and apologize if y'all see them back there doing anything untoward. But they wanted to come outside, so I thought we'd come outside with them. And I could tell y'all that we finished up the High Tide Club, and y'all, it's a really good book. It doesn't necessarily have a happy ending on all fronts, but it has a satisfying ending. Mary Kay Andrews is great at tying up loose ends. And of course, y'all know I'm horrible at predicting like twists and turns and things that are coming. There were so many twists and turns that I did not predict, that I did not see coming, so they kept things interesting and kept me reading for, I don't know, what was it, 480 pages? So I definitely recommend it. Y'all know I like Mary Kay Andrews anyway, so I enjoyed this book by her. And y'all, that's going to wrap up both my Beachy reads and this video, because I think this has been going on for a really long time, so that's going to do it for us. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, we're definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos the beginning of every week with some book videos sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.